Hi, I'm Aditya and welcome to my LifePage. I'm a social entrepreneur based out of London, and today I am training 25,000 students in the Indian state of Uttarakhand and thousands more in the South Asian belt. Today I will share with you what I think is social entrepreneurship. Now, I was not always a social entrepreneur. I started my journey both at university and soon after that in law. However, while being at university, I was introduced to social entrepreneurship for the first time. And it was then that I really fell in love with it. From that time onwards, I have been able to touch several lives, in fact several thousand lives, through my social entrepreneurship work, and up to 30,000 people today in the United Kingdom alone benefit from the services that I was able to set up. In fact, I set up services and worked with several members of the House of Lords and even launched a grand scheme with the current Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Is going beyond the profit motive while you work. This is because if you are a social entrepreneur, and I stress on the word social, then the impact that your work does is of first priority to you. For instance, the examples I had given previously of 30,000 people benefiting from my work. It is this that I always quote, not the amount of money raised or the amount of money being made. And this is what a social entrepreneur does, because that is their first and foremost target. Another very important aspect of social entrepreneurship or of a social entrepreneur is that apart from impact, the impact that they generate and measure has to be of social nature. So what I mean by that is the impact has to be able to benefit people's lives or the lives of a society or a country. Because a social entrepreneur actually doesn't have a degree or qualification, although a number of universities today are trying to create degrees for that. I personally believe that there are things you can read and things you can do and practice that will actually give you the knowledge to be a social entrepreneur. Now, for me, the most useful and probably the simplest thing you can do to embark on this journey of social entrepreneurship is to read. And by reading, I mean reading books by actual entrepreneurs who have written books, their memoirs, their experiences, their theories. Also books by journalists and other such sources who cover the journey of an entrepreneur. Now, these pieces of literature are obviously very inspirational on their own and they should inspire you. But every story has lessons to learn, and this is what I want you to pick up. And let me just give you an example. People like Bill Gates, people like Steve Jobs, and a lot of these other people have read tons and tons of books. I believe Gates has even read a book a week in certain parts of his life. And this is more important for social entrepreneurs rather than tech entrepreneurs. And this is because a lot of our work involves thousands of people. We are touching the lives of thousands of people, and to do that, we also have to connect with hundreds more so that our project actually comes to life. And you can never do this if you are not able to communicate with public. This is because, first of all, they need to understand what your idea is, what your vision is. Then, secondly, they actually need to buy into your idea so that they can wholeheartedly support you. Be it your team that you have created, or be it the people's lives you're trying to change. So for me, the most important positive of being a social entrepreneur, and definitely the reason why I'm a social entrepreneur today, is that it is such a rewarding role. It gives you a lot of self-satisfaction. And what I mean by this is, as I had said earlier, unlike a normal entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur mainly focuses on impact. And when you focus on impact, you touch the lives of hundreds of people, and if you're lucky, thousands or even millions. And it is when you see this impact actually improving their lives, improving society and their reactions, it is a highly rewarding feeling. Even if you're talking to one student, for instance, if I went to a school and I saw that my involvement in the training was, although working excessively can give you quick short-term results, in the long term this will really affect you. And if this affects your health or your productivity or gives you a long burnout, that in the long run will actually have a bigger negative impact than the short-term positive impacts that you can get. And also bear in mind, especially for people like you who are thinking of becoming a social entrepreneur, you are probably pretty young. you have two choices essentially. Do you want to overwork yourself and in 3 or 4 years cut down your ability to work by half because of health complications, etc.? Website and so on and so forth. So the word average, especially in terms of an average week or an average day, does not exist in the life of a social entrepreneur. And whilst many for whom this role may not be the right fit may see this as a challenge, I personally think, and I think a lot of social entrepreneurs find this to be the most exciting aspect of being a social entrepreneur, because every day is actually a surprise. So with that, I conclude my talk today about what is a social entrepreneur, and this is all my own personal views through my experiences of being a social entrepreneur for over 5 years now. And I hope that not only has this been able to benefit all of you in taking a decision to take that final leap to start your own social entrepreneurship journey, but more importantly, I hope, and I sincerely hope, that at least one of you who was not sure about this before watching this video was inspired by it to take the leap and hopefully create immense impact in the years to come. Thank you.